Hopefully this is working. Okay, cool. All right, so we're gonna do a video. I wanted to use Loopy Pro, and this is just a simple um, loop that I made actually it was a template supposed to be for the SP404, so I could record in. These are actually circles. So here I'll show you. If you click here, you can add in a circle, and then if you add it in, and oops, I didn't mean to do that. I'm gonna try to get this. Let me see if I can pull the mouse in on this one. Might help it because you're seeing a screen record. So if you, I think it's long press here, if I'm not mistaken, or is it long press here? There we go. You can drag this out further than that too if you want, but you need more space, so you'll have to click on this little guy down here, and it makes a clip for you, right? And it's actually a loop, but it's more linear, which is what I like personally. To get rid of it, just drag it away. Okay, so this is the pencil tool to edit. For those that don't know, for those that do know, this is going to be a simple demonstration, and I'm really doing this to show you something cool I figured out in Loopy Pro. Typically you'd be doing something live with Loopy Pro. That's primarily the way people, I think, would use it. Sorry, that's the headphones. Let me fix them. However, I tend to not do much live in here. My purpose was to hopefully build something where I can just use the SP404. However, it doesn't work. Right now, it's not that it doesn't work. I just need to get it down to where it's a little more fluid. I don't want to show it to you in the workflow if it doesn't really work the way I want. But you can, if you swipe up, now I did it with the mouse there, you can in here label each one, and I highly suggest doing that too, and setting the bar length. It just helps a lot with recording in here. What's cool about this is, if you use Koala and you like Koala, of course you could just sequence in Koala, but if you wanted to use Loopy Pro, something I did not realize this could do, I'm gonna pick some samples real quick, so bear with me as I just go through and pick some kicks. I'm just gonna pick a kick is all I need. That'll work just fine. I'm gonna put in a snare. So give me 1 second to find one. Ooh, Lord. That was loud. The samples are sometimes louder than the actually play. Okay, there we go. Then we'll go get a hi-hat, and we'll use, these are some real dirty hi-hats. Let's go scroll down. I use my hand sometimes, and sometimes I'll use the mouse for certain things so that you can see it. Right now I'm just trying to hurry up and get a hi-hat in here. Doesn't really matter, that's fine. Okay, so I'm going to turn the volume down. I'm going to make my little adjustments. I'm going to go ahead and make sure all these are set to one shot. I'll probably turn that down just a little bit too. One shot. And so I feel like that hi-hat is still a bit loud for my taste. There's an airplane passing in the back, so if you hear that noise, then you know. And I'm using these headphones microphone. So the reason I'm using this is because my family is in the house sleeping and I don't want to wake everyone. Okay, so I didn't know that, and this is the latest version of Loopy Pro, and it is paid for. It's not the demo versions or anything like that. That you could build let's say a 1-bar loop. We're going to do it for the snare. Okay, so you could go in here, and theoretically you could just touch here. You could pick a tempo if you want, turn the metronome on. Let's use 75. Okay, now Koala will sync up with the host, so you'll see it change down here, so you don't have to worry about changing it in 2 places. But let's say you go ahead and click this one. It's going to count in 1 bar. Now let's see if it picked up the microphone. So I'm gonna have to mute the mic. Oops. So as you can see, it picks up and records literally everything. So if it hears a click, it's going to pick the click up, which is what it did. And now you can hear it. So that's annoying because I technically would have to turn this mic off and turn it. And actually, I could, let me turn it off now and I'll do it with it off. So give me 1 second. I'm going to hold it. Oh, wait, just touch it and then. So you see there, I turned it off, and what did it do? Even with the mic off, it picked up the metronome. So we're going to clear that. So it's not the mic, it's just picking up internally whatever it wants to pick up, which is quite annoying. I don't know why it does that or what settings I need to change because I'm still not a pro at Loopy Pro, which is funny because that's what it's called, Loopy Pro. So maybe it's only for pros and not me. So I don't want anything to do with the metronome playing in there, but I do need the metronome on if I'm going to play something live, because to me that's kind of the point, especially if I'm going to do my parts separate, like if I want to do my snare separate. So one thing I found out recently is that I can record this. That's just 2 snares, right? And then I can turn this on and it's going to sync up and record it. Okay, now I'm going to turn on. So I moved it over here now so you could just hear. See how I moved over here? So you're only hearing this. Now I could do that with the kick, or you could do it with all the drums if you want together. But let's say I want to program the kicks. I can put in the kicks here while I'm listening to this one run in the background. And what's cool is in here you have chance. So this is chance, the dice right here. So let's say I want to put chance on these and I want this one to be like 49 so that it skips it sometimes. I'm going to put this one at 59, see if it... I'm actually going to leave that one. So now I can just record in this. Okay. So if you notice, it played the chance once, like right around here, and it skips it on the end. All right, so now I'm going to show you what it's really doing. Just move over. So that's the recording. And you can do this up. There's like a ton. I want to say 32 bars for sure you could do. Okay, now you could do your hats. The cool thing about the hats is this. So I only have 2 bars. I'm actually going to make that 4 bars just to make it a little something a little different. So with the hats, you could go in here, instead of putting a pattern in, you could just pick the hats and use the note repeat. And if you set it to velocity, now you have that. So I'm going to do that. So give me a second. There you go. So I just recorded in the velocity. Now we'll click off. And it's perfect timing every time. So I don't have to worry about spot on, you know, because now my drumming's a little off, or there's a delay in my like if you're using Bluetooth headphones, there's a delay there. So now you could just record it without it, and then you could do the same for the perk track. So this was a discovery to me just yesterday, and I'm like, man, I've had Loopy Pro for a minute, and I've had, of course, Koala forever, feels like. But this is incredible. Using just Koala and Loopy Pro, you could do tremendous amount of stuff. Now, one thing I appreciate about Loopy Pro too is this time stretch is insane and really good. And on top of that, if you look at Loopy Pro, you have the ability, it's a mixer built into it. So like before with AUM, which I love AUM, don't get it twisted. The problem with AUM is they don't have a timeline, or they don't have loops of this sort. You could loop it. You can drop something in and definitely loop it. But this is recording to a loop, right? Which makes it more useful. And then when you want to go to the timeline, you have a timeline where you can literally plug and play or draw out your the way you want it to go across the linear timeline. So let's get out of here. Go back to there. And then if you look here, you notice the red is on the drums, which is good. So I'm going to go ahead into the drums. And I like to use I've been using this lately. If you don't have the Moog Fogger stuff, the saturation is really nice. So I'm going to use that. I like to put EOS on there. Not this setting at all. So I usually use like, where is it at? You would think I would use drum plate, but I don't. I use ambience, and then I turn it down to about 10%, or somewhere right around that. You could go even less if you don't like a lot of air. Its purpose is for the air, but you could use knock if you have knock too. Knock has air in there. You could use that. I just like the ambience reverb with the drums a little bit better. Saturn works good too for the distortion. And then I like tape at the end. And then there's one setting is drum bus glue that I use, and that's it. And then I would usually put that put that setting here on the so you can hear it. So that's just for the drums. And then when it comes to the rest of it, I'm recording. I'm not sure what you. And when the rest of it, you just put here. So you can start putting your chords and bass parts and etc. etc. That's pretty much it. So I just wanted to show you that you could use Koala to create perfect drum loops or whatever you want inside of. Doesn't even have to be perfect. Just set the drum loop. When I say perfect, I don't mean it in the sense of exact on the grid. You can adjust this however you want. But the ability to be able to record it and get it in the bar or whatever you're going to do is huge in creating stuff. And you can imagine, if you can think outside the box, like all the wild world of stuff you could do for creating loops just using Koala and Loopy Pro. So I'll be doing more with this on the next week or so. I'll be showing a few more things with it, and primarily because I'm going to be away from my computer, away from the SP for a second, and away from my keyboard. So while I'm away from that, I still do stuff on the iPad and send you guys ideas and things that I find and discover. And there's so much more in Loopy Pro that I'm not even touching on right now. Here, I'll give you a glimpse of that and then I'll talk about this more. Outside of the starting and stopping of loops, I'm going to swipe up. If you look in here, you can pitch sounds, you can change the speed, you can change the rate, the overdub. Sorry, I grabbed my microphone. That was weird. It's weirdly hard because I'm trying to hold the mic while I do the mouse work and do try not to move. But you can reverse stuff and vary the pitch a little bit too. And so having this fade in and fade out options, and just you can put some samples in here and do some crazy stuff. Plus, let me show you one more thing, and then I'm gonna really have to go. If you look down here, this device here where my mouse is, if you add one in, you can do a clip slicer So what a clip slicer does is you can designate which clip it's going to do, and it'll slice in an evenly or divided amounts or even transients, and then let you play it back. Now, you don't really need that necessarily, but it's kind of a cool feature that's in Loopy Pro. But let's say, and here's why I say you don't need it necessarily. Koala has all the chopping that you need. You could just chop in Koala the parts, put them in sequence, and then play them in directly. And then you would have your sequencers broke down into whatever you did, so you know what each part is or what you did with each part. So I say that to say if you don't have Koala, get Koala for sure. Loopy Pro is a bonus, in my opinion, for getting out the sound and creating nice little patterns. Now, one thing I appreciate too is you look up here, you can rename it. It'll give you if you're on a new song, it'll give you a made up name, which is kind of cool. You can star the template so that you keep your template on there. We'll talk about that a little bit this coming up week. And then you can do projects. If you look in projects, you can have an AU extension folder where you can keep that project so that you can go back and recover like your templates. So much you can do. You can export. I'm not going to go over what Loopy Pro can do because there's so many things. I'm just going to show you some cool ways that you can use it. Many of you are probably even more experienced than I am with Loopy Pro. I have not used it. When it first came out, I was using it. I think I was on the beta too when it first came out. I wasn't super fond of it because I wasn't really into looping like that. However, since it's grown so much, and I hear that they're even coming out with some MIDI loops too, which is kind of cool. You got so many options and so many things you can do. So the exploring continues. And many of you know in a previous update that Koala has now where you can import MIDI into it, which takes it to another level, because that means if Loopy Pro will have MIDI and Koala, you should be able to take sounds from here and go back and forth. In the next one too, I'll talk a little bit about how to bring in not only microphones but audio units, inter-app audio units that need to be brought in, because currently there's still some that have not I don't know if it's called migrated, that's what I want to say, but have not changed their devices over to audio unit, or AUV3s I should say. But Koala, I mean, this is so easy to add MIDI, add bus effects, add color. It's all right here. It's super simple to use. I think I'm going to be using it for a little bit just to take a break from AUM, because there's so many AUM videos, so many things I've done even in AUM, but this just gives me some other options. And I kind of like having the mixer and the loops right here in front of me. Just something about it that makes it a little bit easier to do. And then I'll probably explore this. There's some things I wish they would do better in this. I already know how to use it. I'm going to go back to the beginning and just show you what I'm talking about. I haven't used it in a while, so I will say that that's something that I haven't used in forever ever. It feels like, boy, this thing takes forever. But like if you have a loop, you can grab and then extend that loop as far as you want. So one of the things is, I don't know, and this may be on here, I'm gonna have to look it up. I'll let you guys know once I know. Right now here's a full 4 bar, right? But let's say, and I know I can make it 3, but let's say I wanted to make it 3.5 because I want to cut the drums at a certain point, or cut. I'm not sure how that works. I do know they have this here where you can highlight stuff. I don't know how it works. I'm gonna dig into it a little bit more. I do know you can export the song, I believe, down here. I'll find out, but I do want to know if we can slice bits and pieces, and I say that because I may want to cut this short a little bit, just like on a real DAW would be able to do that. And if they added that in and made it where it's adjustable in that essence, then this is going to be a amazing workflow. All right, that's it for this video. Hope all is well. Till the next one, I'm out.